Hi, I'm Holly, and with my sister Heather, you're listening to Haunted Family Podcast, a weekly podcast about the paranormal, unsolved mysteries, and even some true crime. And the flu.
Very much the flu. Not in my house, but in Holly's.
Yeah, it has made its way around. Abby had it, Hannah got it, Emmy and I are down with it.
What's that beeping sound?
The thermometer.
Okay.
Because, it's not good enough just to feel bad. You have to keep taking your temperature so you can acknowledge, in number form, just how bad you feel.
Did you go to the hospital so you can get tested positive for the flu? Okay, so people, I'm just going to say this, right? You don't need to run to the hospital, to the emergency room for the flu. You don't. Actually, you don't even really need to run to the doctor for the flu unless you need a doctor's note, because there's nothing they can do for you. And even things like Tamiflu doesn't really help much. You just run the risk of making yourself sicker by doing that. So just avoid it if you can.
Well, Hannah had to have a doctor's note.
Yeah.
So she had to go. With Abby, we didn't actually know that it was the flu when we took her. But she also has asthma, so she had some respiratory issues going on. So she actually just needed another inhaler.
Yeah, because the worst thing in the world to have is when your body decides that it doesn't want to it doesn't want to breathe properly. Wait, I said that wrong. Abby used to have this really cute phrase that she'd say about her asthma, and I think I just butchered it.
Of the one thing that you could suck at in the world, I have to suck at breathing.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, she talks about getting a tattoo that says Vlad the Inhaler. I mean, it's a picture of an inhaler. I'm really surprised that wasn't the first one that she got.
I'm not. The Atom is perfect for her.
It is. But I don't need a doctor's note, so I am not going to the doctor. And, I mean, Emmy probably does, because our school is crazy about doctor's notes. They want one for nearly every excuse. We tend to forget. We're always on that list of bad parents that's going to get taken to court because their kid misses school. And I would really worry about that if my kids didn't have straight A's. So I'm kind of like, okay, take us. But they never have, because, the kids are doing great in school. They're not problem kids, and their grades are good. So
your kids are overachievers.
It's just one of those things. They are. So we had some excitement on YouTube this week, didn't we?
We did. And actually, Anthony said we should not give this woman the dignity of mentioning on the show, but we have our first YouTube hater.
Okay, I've been thinking about this, and I really just have one thing to say. That if you decide that you want to be an internet troll and log in and tell people that they're dumb, you might want to make sure that your home address is not easy to find in about 2 minutes of looking. Right, Wanda from Chicago? I will not give out her last name, and I will not give out her home address. I mean,
yeah.
Yet.
But, I mean, her
I might sell it to the highest bidder.
Her post was up for maybe 3 seconds. I got a good chuckle out of it. Holly got a good chuckle out of it. Pretty much everyone we know got a good chuckle out of it. So thank you, Wanda, for being our very first hater.
Yeah. And again, you might want to fix it so we don't know where you live. Especially if you go around commenting on other people's stuff.
I mean,
because it's not cool.
Yeah, because we're good people, but they're bad people in this world. And we're going to talk about bad people in this world tonight on this episode.
Yes. Yes, we are. So this episode really hit home to me because the victim is the age of my daughter. So I can't help but think about her. And I can't help but think about all the times that I would tell my parents that, I was staying at a friend's house, but really I went to another friend's house. Okay, that probably happened twice because I am an introvert loser who didn't really want to go anywhere. But still, like the time that I said that I was going to my friend Stephanie's house, which I really did go to Stephanie's house, but I said I was going to Stephanie's mom's house because her parents were divorced, but really we were going to Stephanie's dad's house. And he really didn't care what we did. So, well, we didn't really do anything. I think we rode like 3-wheelers or like, that's about it. Stayed out too late. But, like, we didn't do anything. But our victim, well, she lied in a very, very big way. And as a parent, I want to say it was kind of obvious, though.
In a very typical teenager way, though.
Yes, but again, as a parent, when I say no and they come back and ask me, well, can I do this? Well, okay, I've already said no to one thing, and I know what you're probably doing, so the answer is going to be no to everything now. Yeah. But I mean, I am strict when it comes to stuff like that, and the girls will tell their friends, if you ask mom more than twice and she said no, not only will you not be able to go, but you won't be able to go anywhere for like a month. So today we're talking about the case of Brittanee Drexel. Brittanee was a 17-year-old junior in high school
from Rochester, New York.
Yep. And like most teenagers, she wanted to go to spring break. And some older kids at her school were planning on going to Myrtle Beach. Now, the mom has later said that she wasn't super close friends with these girls, that it was really more of an acquaintance thing. So, I am assuming that there was a lot of peer pressure and, you really need to come with us kind of stuff going on. So the mom says no, because she says she had a bad feeling about it. There was going to be no parents around. It was just bad road. Honestly, teenagers don't need to travel that far without parents to supervise them, especially not during spring break.
I couldn't imagine. I mean, we had very sort of, I don't know. Our parents pretty much wasn't super involved, but I don't see our parents letting us drive 13 hours with friends to go to the beach.
No, but I mean, honestly, I probably would have done the exact same thing as Brittanee, and I would have said, hey, Mom, I'm going to go stay at a friend's house. I would have even bypassed that we're going to Myrtle Beach. And knowing our parents, they would have been like, okay, and then not asked for any details. When my kids go to people's houses, I have to speak to their parents first. Unless I know the parents, and then I message them.
The mom did ask to speak to the parents, and they put a friend on to pretend like they were a parent.
Yeah, but see, if I don't know the parent, it has to be a face-to-face.
Yeah, but, I mean, I can understand the mom wanting to, trust her child. Because you're 17. You're on the cusp of being an adult.
That's true. But, also, teenagers make really, really bad mistakes.
They do. And poor Brittanee made a terrible decision by getting in the car and going to Myrtle Beach. And I'm sure that she thought, oh yeah, well, if I get caught, I'll get grounded or whatever, but it's not going to be a big deal. But it ended up being a huge deal, because just 2 days after they arrived in Myrtle Beach, the day before they were set to come home, Brittanee visited a...
Why is it always the day before you're supposed to come home? Because the exact same thing happened to Natalie Holloway.
There are so many similarities in this case to Natalie Holloway's disappearance. She visited a friend at the...
Well, they stayed at the Bar Harbor Hotel.
Bar Harbor. And she was visiting a friend
and
in
it was
the
about
Blue Water
a mile
Hotel.
apart.
Cameras, yeah, cameras show her going into the hotel, and the camera shows her leaving the hotel. But the next camera that she would have passed in front of doesn't show her. So she didn't even make it halfway back to her hotel. She was texting
her boyfriend John, who did not go to Myrtle Beach with them. She texted him all the way to the other hotel where she met with Peter, who was a guy that she knew from their high school. And almost as soon as she got there, she got a text from one of the girls that she was with, who she had borrowed her shorts. Why would you borrow shorts from somebody who's going to need them back in like 45 minutes? I don't either. That was weird to me. So she borrowed shorts, went to visit Peter. Like, she hadn't been there very long. I think 8:15 she's walking to Peter's, and 8:48 is when she leaves Peter's. And she's texting John on the way back. Peter said that he did offer her a ride, and she declined it and said that she would be fine. But Peter also said that he was there to have fun and didn't need to babysit anybody. So, whatever. The last text that John gets from Brittanee is 8:58. And she says that when she gets back to her hotel, she's going to pack and then go to sleep. John asks why, and she doesn't respond. So he gets scared and calls Brittanee's mom.
And when Brittanee's mom answers the phone, he says, she's in Myrtle Beach, and they can't find her. I don't have children, but I could just imagine that this is just one of those stomach-sinking moments.
Right, but if he called her mom at 9:15, so she had only been off the grid for like 17 minutes. Like, yes, there did turn out to be something wrong, but I don't know that I would freak out and say that they couldn't find her if she had only been missing for 17 minutes. But the traffic camera that you were talking about that she didn't make it to, by going by like the pace that she was walking and all of that, she should have been coming upon that light at 9:03.
Right.
So somewhere between 8:58 and 9:03 she went missing. So her cell phone pings at 9:27, 5 miles in the opposite direction from her hotel. Then at 11:58 it pings one more time, and it's a tower that's about 50 miles away from where the hotel was.
In McClellanville.
Right. And that's the last time they have any information from the cell phone. So it was either turned off, or the battery was taken out, or damaged in some way. So then Brittanee's dad, mom, and boyfriend comes to Myrtle Beach the next day, and they're handing out flyers and they're looking for her. And then Peter acts suspicious by checking out at 2 a.m. on the night that she goes missing, forfeiting his deposit on his hotel room.
Which is weird.
It is weird. But there was no video footage of him following her. And, honestly, I've been thinking about this. And his reasoning was he wanted to get back. He wanted to make good time getting back home. Well, when we're going...
It's a 13-hour trip, so...
Right. When we're traveling, we always do it during night also. So I can understand that. I think it was legit. But Brittanee's dad was kind of hostile to him and accused him of not caring because, he didn't go directly to the dad and offer help. But Peter was very helpful to the police. Like, he wasn't keeping anything. He was very upfront and honest and worked closely with the police. So, I don't know if if one of my friends had gone missing, I probably wouldn't talk to their parents either. I would talk directly to the police. Because I don't know that the parents are in their grief-stricken state of mind. I don't know that they're going to
utilize the information in a way that is
right conducive
going to be conducive to finding the person.
Right.
And we say this from, we saw how our aunt was after her daughter died.
Oh,
so yeah, I could just imagine.
She was so devastated that she was not thinking or acting clearly at all.
And honestly, and she will admit this, that she did not think or act clearly for years after this. Because it's such a big blow. So I can imagine what finding out that your child is missing would do.
Right, and you're probably feeling bad as a parent because you got conned. I mean, you let it happen.
Yeah, I mean,
not by any wrongdoing really on your part. You didn't know.
But that's how most parents would feel, though. That they let this happen because they didn't see through the ruse, even though there was really nothing that Brittanee was intent on leaving. She would have found a way to make this happen.
Right. I mean, aside from, like I said, just not letting her leave the house during spring break, which, depending on how much my child had annoyed me about it, that's exactly what would have happened at my house. But also, my kids hear stories like this, and they hear stories about Natalie Holloway, and I think I have them terrified to go anywhere.
Probably.
So, for many years, that's kind of where the story ended. That Brittanee was missing.
They knew that her cell phone had pinged in 2 different locations, one about 50 miles away.
Yeah, the last one 50 miles away. And that was it. They handed out flyers. They, talked to anybody that they could. And they had a website devoted to finding her. And I think it was helpfindbrittanee.drexel.com. I went to it earlier today, and it's no longer an active website, and that kind of broke my heart a little bit. But I mean, I guess there's no point now. But I don't know. It was still just a emotional shock. So in 2016, so just 2 years ago, stuff started coming out about what happened to Brittanee after that last ping. And the FBI believe that a man in prison has the answers. So the inmate said that what happened was Taquan Brown was the jailhouse confessor, and he said that he was at a stash house, which is a place where they keep guns and drugs or money, or pretty much a place where shitty lowlifes hang out. And they took her to that house, and it was in McClellanville, near the area where the cell phone last pinged. So, I mean, that adds up. So he said that he went to this house, and he saw a man named Deshaun Taylor, who was 16, and several other men, and they were sexually assaulting Brittanee Drexel. And they had been for several days. And then he went out back to give money to Taylor's dad. And when he came back in, as he was out there talking, Brittanee tried to get away. and they beat her with the gun, carried her back in the house, and then shot her twice. Now, they say that her body has never been found because they wrapped it up and fed it to alligators.
Harsh.
Yes. So, she was last seen on April 25th, 2009, but she probably didn't die for maybe another week after that. And she was...
If these stories are correct. If the story is
right.
correct.
And the story is that it was becoming too much of a liability to keep her around.
Because as soon as the boyfriend called the mom, the boyfriend, I think one of her other friends, and I believe her father, all hopped in their car and drove to South Carolina and started raising a stink. Which, honestly, is probably one of the better things you can do in a situation like this. Because the more attention you can focus on the case, the less likely you are to have the police just sort of half-ass job it. Not saying that all law enforcement will do that, but you will run into ones like that.
Especially when the case is several years old. Yeah, so nothing has actually happened in this case beyond that. I mean, the FBI believe that they believe they have their man. They really only have that name, Deshaun and his dad. So, I mean, there may be other names that eventually come out, but
no. Deshaun has said from the very beginning that he doesn't even know Taekwon, and that he has no involvement to this case. But his father was caught. I believe he was arrested, but no charges were ever filed. Like a year or so later, trying to abduct a girl in the same area that Brittanee went missing. This girl was able to get away. The FBI has pushed hard to try to break Deshaun. In 2011, he was arrested as part of a armed robbery of a McDonald's, where a McDonald's employee was shot and injured. And the state courts just gave him 2 years of probation. The DOJ stepped in and said, well, these charges aren't enough, brought federal charges against him. And as part of the federal charges, to try to get a plea bargain in that, they made him take a polygraph test relating to the case of Brittanee Drexel. According to the FBI, he bombed the polygraph.
I mean, I'm sorry. Are we supposed to be surprised by that?
Probably not.
So, I mean, that's kind of all we have with the story. But I mean, yeah. I want to say a few things. I want to say to Brittanee's friends who talked her into going and then let her walk alone and then texted her to come back. You guys are really shitty friends.
But, I mean, teenagers make bad decisions.
That's true. They do. But that bad decision cost somebody their life. And I hope that it's been so long now that you are not shitty friends. And I hope that every day you look at your kids and you think, wow, I hope that my friends have better friends than I was.
I'm sure they're all very much like helicopter parenting.
I would hope so, because Nobody. No matter whether you're a friend or your acquaintance or hell, even somebody that you just don't like, nobody deserves this happening to them. And it's sickening. It hurts me as a parent that this happened. I mean, honestly, I am in my right mind when I say this, but if I was Brittanee's parents, I probably would have done physical violence to those girls. And I mean, yeah, he was pretty harsh to Peter. I probably would have too. I don't know if my harshness would have been because he wasn't talking to me and coming to me to help about the case, but just the fact that you didn't force her to let you drive a mile up the road. I know you're not a babysitter and you're on spring break and you're supposed to have fun, but that's fucking common courtesy. What kind of man are you?
But I mean, we go back to the fact that teenagers make stupid decisions. Not all teenagers, and not all teenagers will do this all the time, but their brains are still maturing. They're still learning how to handle the world. And, for most teenagers, they're
invincible.
Yes. And I'm sure that's what she was thinking up until the point where she was dragged into someone's car. And it could happen to anybody.
I mean, it could. I mean, it could happen to somebody, not just a kid. I mean, yes,
which is one of those
spring break is a vulnerable time because you're drinking. There's reports that she texted John and told him that the people that she was with was doing drugs. So, I mean, it's not a place for teenagers. And especially not teenagers who are prone to already make stupid mistakes, like lying to your parents and driving 13 hours. And I mean, I'm not really one to place blame, although I am saying the friends, by not watching out for each other, cost her life. But what the fuck, bars that are letting 17-year-olds in? I know, yes, on the books, you're not serving alcohol until they're 21. But I'm going to tell you that when I was 18, I would go to a bar in West Virginia. They would let me in because I was 18, and guys would come up and buy me drinks.
Wasn't that also the bar that had people die in front of it because,
yes,
it was really trashy?
Yeah, it was. It was right beside, what's the name of that university?
Marshall?
Yeah, it's right near Marshall. I think it was right near Marshall. But anyway, thankfully, I had friends with me that watched my back and I watched theirs. And even though somebody got bludgeoned almost to death with a metal pipe in front of the bar, we always made it home safe.
Watch your friends' backs.
But we shouldn't have even been allowed in there, honestly.
There's actually another suspect in this case. And to me, this suspect seems a little bit more solid than Deshaun and his father. And this man is Raymond Moody. At the time, he was 51 years old, and he was a convicted sex offender out of California, where in 1983, he abducted and raped a 9-year-old girl. And he's been suspected in a number of other similar cases. He was in Myrtle Beach at the time that Brittany Drexel disappeared. He was staying in a area motel called the Sunset Lodge, which is close to where Brittany was staying. He checked in the day before she disappeared, and the day after she disappeared, he got a speeding ticket for speeding between the towns of Myrtle Beach and Georgetown,
which is where
her phone last pinged.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is a level 3 sex offender, which, he is violent. And I believe that he has been... Yes. In 2005, a year after Moody was released from prison from his rape of a 9-year-old, a woman named Crystal Solis. It looks like it's Souls. It might be Soleil. It's Soles. I'm sorry. I'm really bad with names.
It's because you're dumb.
True. She was last seen in Andrews, South Carolina, which is east of Georgetown, of the Georgetown area. And law enforcement have not been able to find enough evidence to arrest him for that, but they believe that he had something to do with her disappearance. So it is very possible that this sex offender is now patrolling, well, at the time was patrolling the area of Myrtle Beach looking for new victims. And I personally think that he might be more of a likely suspect than Deshawn and Sean Taylor. I'm not a big fan of jailbird confessions. They're usually not reliable.
Right, because usually the person in prison wants something.
Right.
But I think Deshaun, I think he's a viable suspect because he was about her age and he's going to appear unsuspecting. And if he stopped to ask, I don't know, directions or anything, she's probably not going to have her guard up as much. So it would be easier for her to be pulled off of a street without making a scene than if it's some 50-year-old man.
But if looking at pictures of this guy, he doesn't look as old as, he's a young-looking 50.
Still, he's not going to look around her age. I don't know. That's just my thought, is I'm leaning towards... I know that jailhouse confessions are not usually reliable, but I feel like this one is probably accurate. Especially because they haven't found her body, and, next to a pig farm, hungry alligators is probably the best place to dump a body.
True. Also, swampy areas are good places to dump bodies because it's very hard to search. It's very hard to search. I don't know. I hate stories like this because we will probably never have any closure. Our parents will never have a body to put in the ground in their family plot.
No. And that, honestly, that makes me so mad. That makes me so mad at everybody involved because there's no reason for her not to be alive right now.
No. I can understand her. I can understand her lying to her parents to go on spring break.
Right. Like I said, that's a typical teenage move. It's just frustrating.
And I kind of wonder almost if her mom felt in the back of her mind, well, I bet she's lying to me, and I bet she really, went off to the beach. And we'll just use this as a growing experience.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wish we lived in a perfect world where we could walk down the street and not worry about being raped and murdered.
I know.
I wish I didn't have to think, I wish I didn't have to think in the back of my mind that if we don't prepare Abby and Emmy, that they could be victims. I mean, and even we can prepare them, the best we can, and there's still so many unknowns in this world.
Right. Well, I had lunch with my friend Stacy today. Hi, Stacy, if you're listening. And she sells damsel in defense.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know what that is.
Well, it's like, okay, it's stun guns and pepper spray and personal alarms, and it's defense tools for women that's marketed cute. So it's like purple, and it's got, there's some rhinestone, and it's girly because
I saw the fully glittered pepper spray thing at Walmart, and I thought about getting it, but I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's things to help you be prepared as a woman. I mean, men can do it too if they want pretty colors and glitter.
I know some guys who would absolutely rock pink glittered pepper spray.
Yeah, I do too. So it's not just for damsels, but it's tools for you to protect yourself. And I'm really thinking really hard about signing up to be a sales rep for that. Like, I really think, especially with this podcast and how, we're always telling women to be prepared and to take care of yourself. And yeah, like, I really feel like these are things that you can keep with you all the time. So why not? And the fact that they're cute really just makes it like all that much better.
Yeah. Well, we've kind of dubbed the month of March to be Murder March. Because I think every episode we have this month is a murder episode of some sort.
So let me pull out the list and make sure. Well, the last one is iffy about whether or not it's a murder.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that yes, it is. If not a murder, then definitely a torture. So, not paranormal. So, yeah, if you like our true crime episodes, March is the month for you.
Yeah.
It's our March Madness.
I don't think we can use that word. I think that might be trademarked.
I don't know. I think you can.
I think I might be one of the only people in the world who's never been to Myrtle Beach.
I have not either.
So, researching this episode, I had no idea how close these things... I was literally pulling up hotels on maps to see how close these places were to each other. In our area, and I don't know, it's probably not the same for most people, but in our area, that seems to be the beach vacation spot.
Yeah.
When you want to go to the mountains, you go to Gatlinburg, and when you want to go to the beach, you go to Myrtle Beach.
I'm not a beach person, so... I mean, I have been to one beach, and that was South Padre Island, and that was good enough for me.
Well, I would love to be a beach person, and, yeah.
I don't know. Sand is just dirt.
But you like the smell of the ocean.
Hell, I know. I like the smell of the Atlantic Ocean because it's sweet.
That's where Myrtle Beach is, Holly.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you not know that I suck at geography?
South Padre Island was in the Gulf of Mexico.
Well, it did not smell great. Sorry to our Texas people, but or our Mexico people, it really didn't smell that great.
But, yeah, I would assume that up the East Coast where the Atlantic Ocean is, it probably still has that same sweet smell that in New England had. People in New England, do you take that for granted that when you live near the water, that the air smells sweet? Because it literally smells sweet.
See, I mean, like, I could totally move to, like, I know I say this every episode. You guys are probably really tired of me talking about how much I want to move to New England. But, I mean, I could totally buy a house, like, in Maine or Connecticut or Massachusetts. Pretty much any town, any state in New England, I could happily live there, I think.
Yeah.
During the summer. I don't think that I could handle your winters.
One thing that probably should be pointed out about this case is that the FBI agent who helped work the case, Garrick Munoz, he fully, I believe that he fully believes that Taquan's jailhouse confession is 100% true.
Right, which, I mean,
he has said
I believe that.
You know, they don't have enough to convict, but there are details in the case that lead him to believe that his account of her being gang raped, and there are some reasons to believe that some of the participants actually paid for the privilege of being part of the gang rape.
Oh, so she was trafficked.
Yeah. And that
Poor
she actually
baby.
managed to get away, and as she was trying to run away, that's when she was murdered.
I mean, that hurts my soul. It really does.
Abby, don't even ask to go away for spring break. Your mom will say no, and then she'll lock you in the house.
Really. Actually, I had a conversation with Emmy right before we edited. I sat down and I was like, okay, listen, this is the case we're doing tonight. And I just want to let you know that, don't ever lie to me, because I will track you down. And then I'm going to make whoever you went with, I'm going to make them pay. So just don't make it ugly.
So you can go to, if you have any information about the case, you can go to their Facebook page too. And they have a website, Brittaney'sLittleAngels.org. It's a 501c3 nonprofit charitable organization that provides long-term advocacy services and support for families of missing and human trafficked victims. So, I mean, it's good to see that they're using this horrible thing that happened to their child to help others.
I love it when parents do that, because to me that they're just better people than me, because I would just go on a crazy rampage.
Except John Walsh used to terrify me.
True, he used to terrify me too. But I mean, look at all of the people that he saved.
Yeah, I mean, now as an adult looking back and reading through the story, I can understand why he exuded so much
Rage.
Yes. But at the time, as a child, he kind of terrified me anytime he was on TV.
Yeah, I mean, I would, I don't know, I started to say I would probably be like John Walsh, but no, I would just look crazy, and then I would, like,
There was actually an incident.
I'd probably just terrify people.
There was actually an incident at Abby's school where there was threats being made, and thankfully nothing came of it, and the person was arrested. But yeah, I could have just imagined me having to go to Moorhead to physically restrain my sister to keep her from going to jail too.
Yeah, well, I mean, on the bright side, if there is a bright side, she was homesick that day, so I was not worried.
She was still facing the flu at that point.
Yeah, so it was really funny because I was home and I heard her vomiting just as I got the notification So she stopped puking, and I said, "Hey, Abby, guess what's happening at your school?" And she thought I was lying. I mean, look, why would I lie about something like that? Then a couple minutes later, Emmy texts me frantic because they locked down the entire county, which is great. I mean,
but
so glad that they did.
It's really close to Abby's school.
It is. It's super, super, super close. You could probably throw a rock and hit it. So they locked down the entire county. But she had left her phone in her locker, so she couldn't text me to let me know what was going on. So while she was in lockdown, she was freaking out and worried, but doing what she was supposed to do. But she said that when they did not say it's a warning, and when they did not say it was a drill, and then her teacher started crying, she said that, everybody in the class just lost it because the teacher was crying. And I feel so sorry for that teacher, because nobody wants to go to work and get shot. But I mean, the issue was not at the middle school. But thankfully, our county did have the presence of mind to just go ahead and lock everybody down until they sorted everything out. It scared them, yes, but they were safe. I mean, getting in and out of the school is super safe anyway. I mean, you have to go through several locked doors to get anywhere. So I really wasn't worried, but she texted me as soon as it was lifted and she could get to her locker to tell me what happened, and I was like, I know, it was actually at the high school. But she's been watching videos of the Columbine shooting. She's been watching videos of Klebold's mom doing public speaking about that and how it affected her and her family. And I told her that, I would be so pissed off if something happened to her, that my first instinct would probably be to drive to the parents' house and punch them in the face. And she was like, no, don't do that, because they're hurting too. She's so mature and insightful for a 13-year-old. But I was all like, nope, vengeance is mine.
Emmy is a special child.
Yeah,
she is. But yeah, I mean, oh my God. Watching the parents, and especially watching one of the aunts from the Newtown school shooting, the grade school. I do not know how that woman, how the aunt was carrying on a coherent and calm conversation with the press just days after her niece was murdered.
I know. I mean, that's special people.
I
guess are able to compartmentalize, because
the thought of losing one of my nieces, I could have a crying fit just thinking about it.
Well, I mean, Emmy had a best friend who died when they were 3rd grade, and we go to her grave every year on her birthday. She died 2 days before her birthday, so we don't visit the grave on the day that she died. We wait and we go visit it on her birthday. And every year we take something that lights up, because Emmy said that she was scared of the dark. So we take like little solar lights, or something like that. But
sad.
I know we take something like that every year, and just leave, so that her family knows that there are people that she went to school with that still cares about her. And at their graduation, when they graduated 5th grade, oh my God, I could not stop crying. I mean, she wasn't even my kid, but Emmy and 3 of their other close friends sang a tribute song to her. Oh my God, I just lost it. I just could not. And they had a table, dedicated, like pictures of her, and they had cuttings from the school planted a rose bush in her favorite color, which was pink, and they had cuttings from her rose bush, and I couldn't handle it. I mean, she wasn't even murdered. She she just had a medical condition and died. So I just...
But children shouldn't have to visit their best friend's grave.
No, they shouldn't.
So much unfair in the world.
I know, that's true. Well, do we have a happier topic like a stupid criminal?
Finding it right now, and I'm wiping my eyes because talk about Emmy's best friend makes me sad.
But yeah, it's sad, and no kid should die.
How many children every spring break do exactly what Brittany Drexel did?
I still say it's not a place for teenagers, though.
No. Oh. Her mom was absolutely right when her mom told her that she was not going somewhere where there was not going to be parental supervision. Okay, so our stupid criminal this week comes from just up the road from you in Menifee County.
I love this story.
Yeah. Back in February 23rd, a teacher was arrested at Fleming County Elementary / Middle School in Frenchburg. Teeny tiny. I know, I slipped and said Fleming County. I meant Frenchburg. Disregard Fleming County. Menifee County and the county seat of Frenchburg. Well, students had told their, principals and stuff of the school that they saw their teacher, Cherish Rednor, crush a peel with a credit card and then make a line with the peel on her desk and snort it. And then she slumped over her desk and kind of sort of passed out a bit. The principal called her to the principal's office, and
they found residue on her desk.
Allegations that she was snorting in class, but the principal had already done the smart thing and called the cops. She failed a field sobriety test, and while she was being searched, they found, not only did they find residue on her desk, they found residue on one of her credit cards. When they were searching her person, they found inside her bra they're saying a small cut straw, but it was actually, women will know what this is, guys probably won't. It's the small plunger part of a tampon applicator.
Ew.
Yeah. That's what she was using as a straw to snort her pills.
That's gross. I don't know. It may not have been used, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So she was arrested and taken to the Montgomery County Regional Jail because Menifee County is so small they don't even have a jail. And I can't find any more about it yet, but I'm 99% sure that Menifee County has severed her contract to teach at their school.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. Drugs, they're bad. Don't do them.
They are.
And if you're doing them, get help. I mean, I know that sounds like, oh, well, she's just being flippant that it's not that easy. There are organizations who are out there to help you. I have friends who work for such organizations.
I do too. One of my best friends is a drug treatment counselor.
Who is a recovering addict herself. Wait, are you talking about the came to Christmas?
No, she's not a counselor.
She's going to become a counselor, though. That's what
she is. Yeah, she is she is a public speaker at the moment.
But she is working to become a peer counselor to help others who are addicts.
But no, I was actually thinking. I'm not going to say a name because they live here in town, but his kids and my kids have been best friends like all their lives.
I mean, and the ones I know who are counselors, they want to help people. So, yeah. I'm sure that it's not alone in our area. I'm sure that in your area there are resources out there.
Yeah.
We've seen so much bad stuff in our area lately because of the rampant drug addiction.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
I feel bad for my friends who are counselors because we need more of them. And we need more treatment places.
Yes.
To handle the need. Okay, so if you like our podcast, you can do something new this week to show us your love.
What?
Go to Haunted Family Podcast /tweet. Yes. Go to Haunted Family Podcast /tweet.
We can be tweeted?
You'll see on the page a really big, bold, black message that says tweet us. Click that. And it will open up your Twitter with a pre-filled message that says, love the new episode from the Girls at Haunted Family Podcast, and a link back to our podcast. And you just hit that little blue tweet button and tweet. You have sent a message to the Twitterverse saying that you love Haunted Family Podcast. Well, we actually have some interesting YouTube episodes that we're going to try to get filmed soon. A couple, what would you call that? The internet's calling that a game, but would you consider it's like divination? So, yeah, there's a couple of those that we're going to try. We want to film an episode that is us trying all of those really fun, scary sleepover games like Candyman and Bloody Mary. I think that Holly is less enthusiastic about it, but I'm going to drag her along.
Well, I'm just fevery and tired. I'm just tired and fevery.
But we have had a battle brewing in our downloads lately.
I know, we have. Connecticut, I'm so sad to see you losing to Texas.
Yes. I'm sorry, Connecticut listeners, but
we love Texas.
Has unseated you this week, and Texas is our number one download.
I think it's because Texas found out. Yeah, I feel like Texas knows that we liked South Padre Island, for sitting in dirt and swimming in fish pee, but I mean, as far as dirt and fish pee goes, South Padre Island was pretty fun.
It was pretty. I like pretty.
Yeah.
Texas is pretty in that sort of deserty kind of way.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. As always, like us, rate us, review us, and if you want a podcast of your own, check out Podbean because they are pretty freaking awesome. And go
to our website, hauntedfamilypodcast.com/
Yep.
tweet and send us a tweet. I want to hear from you. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Bye.